Okay, so surface area review worksheet, page 4, and we're looking at the surface area of cylinders. So for surface area of cylinders, we use the formula surface area equals 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. So for this, we also need to know how to find the radius if we're given a diameter. So if we have the radius to get, or if we've given a diameter, to get the radius, we divide that diameter by 2. So for our first one, we have our height of 14, and we have our diameter of 10. So to find our radius, it is 10 divided by 2, which equals 5. So our radius for this first one is 5. So we have our formula, surface area equals 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. So we substitute in our values. Surface area equals 2 times pi times our radius of 5 times our height of 14 plus 2 times pi times our radius of 5 squared. We put this into our calculator, so we get 2 times pi times 5 times 14 plus 2 times pi times 5 squared. On our calculator, we get an answer of 596.9026042. So we are rounding this correct to 2 decimal places, so it will be 596.90 centimeters squared. For B, what we have is, again, we have our diameter, so we need to write the radius. So our radius here will be 23 divided by 2. So 23 divided by 2 is 11.5. So our radius is 11.5, and our height is 34. So our formula is surface area equals 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. So surface area equals 2 times pi times 11.5 times 34 plus 2 times pi times 11.5 squared. So our surface area equals 2 times pi times 11.5 times 34 plus 2 times pi times 11.5 squared. This equals 3,287.676712. To 2 decimal places, this is 3,287.68 centimeters squared. For question C, what we have is we have been given our radius. So we have our formula, surface area equals 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. We have our radius of 1.2 and our height of 3.7. So our surface area equals 2 times pi times 1.2 times 3.7 plus 2 times pi times 3.7 squared. Our surface area equals 2 times pi times 1.2 times 3.7 plus 2 times pi times 3.7 squared. In our calculator, we get the answer 113.914149.6, and 2 decimal places, this is 113.91 meters squared. For our last one, we have a diameter, so we need to find the radius, and so our radius is 7.8 divided by 2. 7.8 divided by 2 is equal to 3.9, so 3.9, that's our radius, and our height is 19.6. So our formula is surface area equals 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared, so surface area equals 2 times pi times 3.9 times 19.6 plus 2 times pi times 3.9 squared. So our surface area equals 2 times pi times 3.9 times 19.6 plus 2 times pi times 3.9 squared. We get 853.9334. So our surface area equals 575.85 millimeters squared. For question 2, we want to find the surface area of each cylinder, leaving your answers in terms of pi. So for this same formula, we have our surface area equals 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. For this first one, our radius is our 2.4 and our height is our 5.6. So we substitute in the numbers to get surface area equals 2 times pi times our radius of 2.4 times our height of 5.6 plus 2 times pi times our radius of 2.4 squared. Now what we do is we put this into our calculator, but we leave it in terms of pi, so we don't actually press the pi button. So we just go 2 times 2.4 times 5.6, which equals 26.88 pi, plus we then just go our 2 times 2.4 squared, which is 11.52 pi. We add these together, so we add our 26.88 plus our 11.52 to get out that our surface area is 38.4 pi centimeters squared. So we just leave it in terms of pi. We have our pi in our answer, so we don't actually press the pi button on our calculator. For B, we use our surface area formula, so surface area equals 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. We have a diameter here, so we need to find the radius. So our radius is 2.7 divided by 2, which is equal to 1.35. So 1.35, and that's our radius, and we have our height of 1.1. So our surface area equals 2 times pi times 1.35 times times 1.1, wow, plus 2 times pi times 1.35 squared. So our surface area equals 2 times 1.35 times 1.1, which equals 2.97 pi, plus 2 times 1.35 squared is 3.645 pi. So now we add these together. So 2.97 plus 3.645 is equal to 6.615 pi. For part C, same thing. We have our radius to be 4, our height to be 12. That was a horrible H. That's a still horrible H. But we have our surface area formula of 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. So surface area equals 2 times pi times 4 times 12 plus 2 times pi times 4 squared. So surface area equals 2 times 4 times 12, which is 96 pi, plus 2 times 4 squared, which is 32 pi. So now we add these together. So 96 plus 32 is 128 pi meters squared. And back up for B, I forgot my meters squared. So then for part D, our last question, we have a diameter, so we need to find our radius. So it's 18 divided by 2, so radius equals 9. And our height is 39 millimeters. So our surface area formula last time is 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. So surface area equals 2 times pi times 9 times 39 plus 2 times pi times 9 squared. So surface area equals 2 times 9 times 39, which is 702 pi, plus our 2 times 9 squared, which is 162 pi. So 702 plus 162 is a surface area of 864 pi